Well, we're back down working on the loader again. I've been spending some time down here myself, scraping, cleaning. You know, we're inside the frame rails right here. It's still a little dirty. There's paint's missing, things like that, but I spend a bunch of time down here with scrapers and brake clean, and kind of halfway got some of this cleaned up. It's not perfect. We got up here on the back of the hydraulic tank, got a lot of scraping done, a lot of hosing off done. Tried to somewhat clean this thing up while it's apart. Is it going to be perfect? No, it's an older machine. There's always going to be dirt and grime somewhere. But right here, obviously we can see our engine mounts right there where the engine sits. All this stuff was just covered in grease and dirt and grime. We can see the top of the differential, kind of the same thing. We did spill a little bit of hydraulic fluid there. We had some hydraulic lines that ran directly under the engine. So we've got those off, getting those built. So we're going to replace those with new hydraulic lines before we set the engine back in here. So kind of got some of this cleaned up, made it look a little bit better, get some of the dirt and the grime out of this thing while the engine's out. You know, it's never going to be perfect 'cause it's an older machine and I've got to use it. But while it's apart, if I can make it a little bit better, I always try to do that. So that's one of the things I've been working on. Now, let's go check out the engine because it is just about ready to go in as well. Here's our engine sitting on the stand, all back together, pans back on it. So we got the new crank in it, got the new bearings in it, got everything checked out great. The crank was standard. So all we had to do was get just a new set of standard bearings. Crank is ready to go in, new gaskets, got the bottom end bolted on it. So what I did is after they got her together, there again, it's not gonna be perfect. It's a mid-80s machine and it's a workhorse, but while it's apart, I spent a little time on it. I came down here once again, just like I did in the engine compartment, with a bunch of brake clean, scrapers, wire brushes, and did an okay job. Got the big stuff knocked off, got a fresh coat of yellow paint on this thing. Like I said, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. It's a workhorse, but it's apart. I want to make it look at least halfway decent. Try to take care of this thing so I can get a lot of life out of it once we get it back together. And I think taking care of this stuff, cleaning it up, getting some of that dirt and grime off of it, you know, it helps the engine dissipate some heat. It makes it run cooler, gets a lot of that trash out of your way. If you do need to work on it, you've got a lot of that dirt and grime off of it while the thing is out of the machine. So that's why I like to do that. Even though it takes some time, costs a few bucks to come down here with brake clean and paint and try to spiff it up, that's kind of how I like to do it. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But that's where we're at right now with the engine. Once we get those hydraulic lines back so we can get those replaced, this thing will be ready to go back in to the machine and hopefully be back out at the yard working soon. Well, we're definitely making progress here. Both cylinders are back together, new seals. So hopefully my slow leak down problem I've been fighting with this machine ever since I bought it, you know, is gonna be fixed. Like I said, it wasn't a hard fix. It was just a matter of getting that big cylinder off the machine and into a shop to get it done. Fortunately, since the thing was sitting here, we talked about it and it didn't sound like it was gonna be extremely, you know, cost detrimental. So we decided to go ahead and do it while we were here. We've got these end caps bolted back on. We can see the brand new seals right in there. So they had this entire shaft out of here, got that whole thing redone, reworked with new seals, got them back together, got them hooked to the machine. So we're gonna be ready to roll there. So it's always good to see any sort of progress. So at least the cylinders are done. Like we just looked at, the engine is about ready to drop back in to get some of those new hoses and get those replaced. and hopefully this thing will be back to working soon. So there's the loader update for as of right now. We'll see what happens here in the near future, but we're making headway. We got the shop helpers right here hanging out, helping with the project. So anyway, there she is. There's the update. Cylinders are done. Engine's clean and painted, back together, ready to go back in. Engine compartment cleaned up, ready to set that engine back in there. So thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned. Hopefully we're going to be bringing you some more content on this very soon when this thing is running again. So that's where we're at. Here comes the help getting ready to drop the engine in.